Hi there guys and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Swift Challenger 560. These are a basic walkthrough on how to set up and operate the caravan as if you were coming on or off site. So, starting off first, we have your black hitch head at the front and black lever, which you have to have pulled up like so to then be able to wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow ball, which will then cause it to snap down, push up that red button and expose a green ring. You then have a breakaway cable underneath. Legality states if you have an eye point, it has to be used. You then have your handbrake just here to disengage. Press down like so, and as you can see, they can come up with a fair bit of force, so make sure your face isn't in the way. You then have 13-pin electric on the caravan, so if you do have 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back. You have inserts for your legs. The caravan itself comes with a leg winder, or you can alternatively get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs. They're simply used for stabilisation. Now today we are using our test equipment. So here I have a red propane gas bottle. I'd always recommend propane over butane just because it has a better performance in winter. Connected on, I have a gas hose. Black gas hoses will run for 5 years. This one is dated 2025, so it will take me up to 2030. That connects from the bottle to this regulator just here. You want to hand tighten that as much as you physically can and then nip it up using a spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight because the hoses themselves have an O-ring inside. Too much excessive pressure can cause it to crack and break, leading to gas leaking out. Coming around this side, starting off first, we have your flue. Your flue is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. I then have an Akrol here for the fresh drinking water and your water pump. To remove the pump, I have to press in on the trigger and pull out. They are a little bit stiff due to the rubberized parts. And then have this blue cap over the top of the Akrol to ensure no nastiness gets in. And then at the bottom, we have your strainer. Now it's crucial that the strainer itself sits at the bottom of the barrel to allow the maximum potential of water to come through. As you can see, they have a bit of a tendency to curl up. My recommendation is to get some white PVC tubing. It doesn't have to be white, can be any colour, or like some old hose pipe or something like that, just so it's always nice and straight. And to push this in, just do it like so. Can't be removed unless you fancy snapping plastic. You then have your battery locker. This example does have a battery on, situated using the two terminals which you can connect to using 12 or 13mm spanners. Then next to it we have your plug-in for your mains, which goes in nice and easy, and just behind it we have the ignition point for the motor mover. Motor mover will be gone over on collection. And lastly, we have your toilet function. So first up, we have the 2 points where your wastewater is going to come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to then feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. Then here we have your cassette toilet. To remove it, press up on the handle and pull out like so. Then this handle does also extend out and up, so it can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. What you want to do, twist this head to the side, open up this cap like so, pick it up, give it a tilt and vent at the same time. Now, as you can see, there was a mixture of blue chemical and water that I had put in. I'd always recommend putting in some water just so it doesn't absolutely honk. On this cap here, you have measurements in both imperial and metric, and that is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into there, back onto the cap, and pushed in, so the orange handle sits behind those white teeth. Then just above here, we have your flush tank. The flush tank has the capacity to hold around 12 litres of water. However, I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You could also add some pink chemical which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell nicer. Now you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so just up here, got a little bung to drain off any remaining water from the flush tank. The caravan itself will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Then underneath your right hand side seat you have all of this here, so I wouldn't recommend storing anything under here. You can open up and access this panel to have access to the boiler itself. You then have your flow jets, which is what will pull through the water, and then you have this yellow drain valve. Facing in the position as it is now, that is allowing the flow of water to come through. When it's facing the vertical position, that will drain out any water that is inside the system. That is also how you will collect the caravan with that facing upright. You then have this blue box here, which is the brain box for your motor mover. The silver box situated on the side, which is your battery charger. Then on the top, we have all of your trips and fuses. As you can see, all trips in the upright position and all fuses in the correct position. I'd always recommend carrying some extra fuses across the caravan. You can then see heating and hot water and charger are both illuminated, showing that they're both working. You then have a reverse polarity setting if you ever go abroad, and then a complete system shutdown button. Press that in, nothing inside the caravan is able to operate. Then you can pull back this panel and you have some more information on your trips and fuses. And here we have your toilet operation, which is bog simple. Open up the lid, press in the button, and you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push through any water inside the system itself. Then to remove the waste, press away on the handle, opens up the catch, pull it back towards you, as otherwise you're not able to remove the cassette toilet. Put down your lid. Whenever the cassette is full, there'll be a red light on there telling you to go and empty it. Then here we have your hob, grill and oven. So all of this operates on gas minus the electric plate. For the electric plate, spin it to whatever mark and it will get to temperature. Everything else is operative from gas. So all you have to do, press in the dial, twist it to the side and press in the igniter. Now it may be a case when you first come to use it that these flames will light and then cut out, or just take a while to light. That is natural, that is the gas making its way through its system, so you don't have to do anything else with that. This is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see, all burners nice and lit. Turn it off, back to the central position, and it's the same concept for your grill. As you can see there, all nice and lit. And finally your oven. Let me see if I can do it with one hand. Now do make sure this tray isn't intruding on the igniter as well, as otherwise you'll have a terrible time. Only other thing to note, you have to have this glass sheet down whilst travelling, but don't put it down until all of these are nice and cold. If you're also travelling with your gas bottle plugged into the regulator, make sure the bottle is turned off. Above the door we have your Swift command board. You turn on this board using this button just here, and it works similar to an iPad. The first button you have is your pump button. Now when you press that in, you can see a blue border goes around it. What that blue border means is that the pump is now active and will begin drawing water through into the system. What you then do is, after waiting 2 or 3 minutes, come over to one of your taps, open it up on both cold and then hot, and what you're looking for is a nice steady continuous stream. If there's any coughs or splutters, go outside and check and make sure that your strainer is set at the bottom of the barrel. Then awning light, press that in, comes up with a yellow border. Go outside and check. You can see awning light is now active, so turn that off. Next up, you've got lighting. So 2 different dials here. Dimmer 1 is for the back, dimmer 2 is for the front. You turn them on by pressing in on the middle, and then you can dim the light by pressing down and increase it by going up. There we go. Turn them off. To go back to the home screen, you just press this button here. Then you've got power. So this shows the amount of power coming into the caravan. So right now it says 14.3 volts are coming from the leisure battery. As there's not a leisure battery currently hooked on, that will be coming from just the mains. So when you only have your leisure battery on, that will be an accurate representation. Nothing from solar, nothing from vehicle. Then you've got an AC current here, and you can also set a limit using this button just here. Then we've got settings. So this is just some additional settings here. This is your general sort of stuff. So You've got time, date, day, screen brightness just here, screen timeout, so how long it takes for the screen to time out since the last press. And then you can also pair your Bluetooth devices just here and have the beep when you're actually pressing in on the panel. Then lastly, you've got radio. So there's not like a built-in unit as such. There is this radio module just here, which you've got your plug-in on the side for your aux. Then it's just a case of pressing on mode, going to either FM, DAB, aux, or off. And then you've got your volume controls on the side, and you tune and scan like a normal radio. Then at the top, some additional bits: internal and external temperatures, date, time, and leisure battery percentage. Just here, we've got your Dometic fridge. So to turn this on, you press in on this grey button here, you press and hold. It will flash up and go to its most recent memory, which in this case was gas on full capacity. Now for gas, it's not a case that it instantaneously works. It's a case you'll gradually begin to hear it tick in, and then once it's finished ticking, that means it is now lit on gas. To change the source, you press this button up here. So I've pressed it once and it's gone over to mains. That is now using mains power to power the fridge. Press it one more time, goes over to auto. Auto automatically selects what the fridge thinks is the best source to use, which in this case you can see is mains. Now I'm going to press it once again and it's going to flick over to that battery icon. That battery icon is for your 13 pin. So that's when you're hooked up to your car and driving away. Obviously, because I'm not hooked on today, it isn't going to work. So press it once and you can see it begins to flash up and beep, showing that it's not working. That hazard icon will come up, flash up and beep. Then temperature wise, you can start at minimum and go all the way up to maximum. 5 being the most powerful, so it's going to chill it the quickest. 1 being the least powerful, so it's going to chill it the slowest. Then open it up and you can also see blue lights when it's on. Then when I turn it off by pressing and holding on that middle icon, no more LEDs there, you can see it is now off.